Hello and welcome to a special episode of Football Manager with Botev Plovdiv. Today we are going to go through our squad because basically we are already, 5 games, some games, 6 games, I always forget. We're 6 games into the season, 2 in the league, 4 in the Europa League. We have just finished playing Trans in the Europa League and drawn AZ Alkmaar in the next leg. So we haven't actually gone through the squad yet. You've seen a couple of players in passing, but I haven't gone through everyone individually. For now, we are going to be going through that and going through some of the good players, some of the bad players, and trying to describe what I'm going to try and do with the squad. So this here is our first team, and it's actually fairly sizable. But a good thing with this first team is if you look at the ages, there's a lot of children. This is the squad that I played against Trans in the last episode. There's a lot of youngsters in the squad, particularly down here. You've got a load of teenagers, which is really good. So let's go through them in order. We've got 5 goalkeepers. That's a problem. We're going to go in ascending order, so worst to best. So I've sorted by ability. We're going to start down here with Ivan Kvorcic, who is a 34-year-old goalkeeper. He's got 1 cap for Bulgaria, apparently, which must have been a very, very long time ago. He is getting on a bit. I have transfer listed him because we do have 5 goalkeepers. I can't see him getting too many games, and if I'm perfectly honest, if we can shift him on before the season is out, that would be perfect. Still got 2 years left on his contract. Next up is 23-year-old Martin Dimitrov, who is only really in the first team because he's too old for the under-19s. Good little option, 23 years old though. Realistically, we've got Alan Sherry, who's going to be a much better goalkeeper than him. Daniel Kaiser, who's a much better goalkeeper as well. Maybe I need to try and sell Martin Dimitrov and maybe get a little bit of cash for him. Next up is on loan Polish goalkeeper Milos Mleczko, maybe, who is on loan from Lech Poznan. We have already seen him before. He's 3-star current ability, 5-star potential. In as a backup, probably won't play a huge amount of games unless we get some injuries. Joint top goalkeeper is Albanian Alan Sherry. He is only 21 years old, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. I think he's good. He's probably not going to be one of those players that stays with us for a very long time. I reckon by the time he's 23, 24, he's going to be shifted on or replaced by a new gen. But Alan Sherry, I think, is a good signing for a free transfer. And finally, our number 1 keeper for the season is going to be Daniel Kaiser, 27 years old, Polish, no international caps. He's not been here a huge amount of time. I think he signs at the season before the save starts. So yeah, we've signed him from ROW Rybnik, apparently in Poland. He is a very good goalkeeper, but he is at his current ability, his maximum ability, I think he's good. He's very good. Alan Sherry might surpass him. That will be seen in the coming years. Fullbacks then, we have got, this is both sides, obviously left and right. I'm going to go through them once again in ascending order. They're all okay, they're all 3 stars or thereabouts. So, first up is Bulgarian left-back, Gabriel Zemyarsky, who is only 18 years old, 2.5-star current ability. He's a left wing-back. He can play as a left midfielder if we really want him to. I think he's a good little option. Crossing 13, very, very useful for a fullback or wing-back. High determination as well. Lots of 11s and 12s in there. I think Zemyarsky, decent little player. Someone who I would like to try and replace for a number of reasons. Jonathan, 24 years old, Brazilian. I want to get rid of him, partially because I don't think he's very good. He's okay, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, but also he is non-EU, so he takes up one of the foreign player slots. He's okay, I guess. He will do a job for a year. Next up is not really a wing-back, is he? It's Atanas Zehirov, maybe? 3-star current and potential ability, 30 years old. He has probably reached his limit for the club. He's played 27 games last year. Don't think he's going to play a huge amount this year. One of our best players, I think, in the squad is 25-year-old Lazar Marin. He is a no-nonsense fullback. He's not amazing going forward. He doesn't have the high crossing, but look at the 11s, 12s and 13s there in the mentals. All of them, 11, 12 or 13. Physically, also loads of 11s, 12s and 13s. Technically, loads of 11s, 12s and 13s. Basically, I said he's got no 13s in technical or physical. Basically, he's a really good all-rounder. If he was 18 years old, I'd contemplate training him up to be a central midfielder, something like that. He's so good basically anywhere on the pitch. And finally, another player who can basically play anywhere on the pitch is Thomas Kwajka, the 31-year-old Polish central midfielder, right back, defensive midfielder, centre back, right midfielder, attacking midfielder, left back, not a goalkeeper, not a striker, on loan from Lech Poznan. He's pretty decent. He's on a rotation deal. We are paying his wages, I believe, which might not have been the best thing for us to do, but Kweiker, I think, is a decent player for us. Well, this isn't good. I didn't realise we had so few central defenders. Maybe I shouldn't have loaned out Dimitar Balanov. Anyway, we've got 3 still at the club. We'll have a look at Balanov first. I think I did show him in the last episode anyway. He is out on loan. He's a decent little option. 2-star current ability. Has a bit of potential as far as I'm aware as well. Needs to get some first team football. He's only 18 though. Christian Dimitrov is next up, 22 years old, played 22 games for the club last season, I believe. Started in the last match as well against Trans in the Europa League. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's pretty good, 6'3", 22 years old. Got a number of 11s and 12s in there, 15 jumping reach, 13 strength. I think he's okay. Next up is Dimitar Pergov, who has 1 cap for Bulgaria, apparently, back in 2016 against France. He is one of the first names on the team sheet, more because we don't have a huge amount of defenders, but he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Good little player here, 14 tackling. He's got some good 14s and 13s and 12s in there, physically very good as well. I like the look of Dimitar Pergov. He's probably one of the oldest players in our squad now, partially because I'm trying to shift on all the old guys. And the second player who is automatically going to be put onto the team sheet is Radoslav Terziev, who already has scored a goal for us this season in the Europa League. I think he is bloody good for this level of football. He's only 24 as well, so got a few more years left in him. He's got some really great mental stats. I think that's a key thing for a lot of these players, mental stats. Physically, they may not be the best. I mean, he can't head a 9 heading, not great. Mentally, though, he is really, really good. Physically, also very, very good. I don't like the way Ludogorets want to sign him. If they want to sign him, they have to pay £1 million, which actually isn't a huge amount of money. Defensive midfielders, then, we've actually seen a number of these. So we will start with Lashazar Kotev, who I think we might have signed at the start of the save. So we've actually already seen him. I think he's good. He's still young, 21 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. I think we're going to get the best years out of Lashazar Kotev in the next couple of seasons, and then we'll probably move him on, and he'll be replaced by, knowing me, probably a 17-year-old Ivorian. Blagovest Danchev is up next, 18 years old, has a decent amount of potential. I really like the look of him. Why have I not really paid too much attention to him? I know he's come off the bench a couple of times in the Europa League. He probably should be playing a bit more football, I think. A player that we have mentioned in an episode or so ago is Abel Aguilar, who is a Colombian international, 70 caps for Colombia. He's 34 years old now. He's a natural deep-lying playmaker. He's also broken his leg, so he's out for 4 weeks to 2 months. We might see him come October time, I think, is when we're likely to start reintroducing him back into the squad. He should be amazing for us. I think with his technical stats, his mental stats, I think he should be able to dictate the pace of the game in the middle of the pitch. And the final player who can play as a defensive midfielder that we haven't seen is Lashazar Baltanov. He's a Botev Plovdiv legend. I mean, I don't think he is, but 140 games so far to his name. He's been here since 2014. 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. He's actually very good going forward. So we're unlikely to play him as that sort of defensive midfielder. He's more likely going to be playing there as a Mazzala is actually what we play him as. 31 years old, getting on a bit. He's only just turned 31 actually, so I mean, he's got a couple of years left in him. We might maybe try and shift him on at the end of the season, but then again, maybe we won't need to do it, because maybe at the end of the season, we might be sacked. Who knows? Right, the next batch of players is going to be very big and very complicated, because what I've done is I've gone for all midfielders who are attacking or central midfielders, because they kind of encompass all of them, don't they? I would like to say don't show players who are strikers, but unfortunately we can't do that. So, let's start off with Zapro Dinev, who is a 19-year-old Bulgarian right midfielder. Looks okay, needs a bit of football. Maybe, and by maybe, definitely, we will loan him out. Chigozie Emmanuel Mbar is up next, a player who was signed at the start of last season when we weren't in charge. He is loan listed. I think he's okay, but he needs football, and he's not going to get football playing for us. Next up is 27-year-old Bulgarian left midfielder Anton, who has a surname and it's never going to be said again. He actually, I think, is a lot better than his 2.5-star stats say. I think he's a good option for that left midfield. He's probably not going to get a huge amount of games, but most of his matches will be coming off the bench, I think. Another left midfielder who probably should be getting more football than he will be getting is 20-year-old Bulgarian Milko Grigoriev. Georgiev, not Grigoriev, Georgiev. He is 2.5-star current, 5-star potential. I might need to actually force this guy to play, because if he's going to be that good, if he's got 5-star potential, our scouts and coaching team must see something in him. 20 years old, maybe we give him some chances this season. Next up is 17-year-old attacking midfielder Dimitar Tonev, who is loan listed and Arda want him. I am playing him. I didn't realise he was so young. He's 17. I'm going to take you off the transfer list, my friend. You're now unavailable for loan because, yeah, you are probably going to be playing a lot of football this year. One of the players who has joined on loan from Lech Poznan, Jakub Moda, he's a natural Mazala, 3-star current, 5-star potential ability. I think he should probably be getting a lot of games because he's actually very, very bloody good at football. Another player on loan from Lech Poznan is Timotus Klups. He's one of those players that he's actually very good. The problem with him is he does have Todor Nedelev in front of him, so he's not going to get anywhere near as much football as he perhaps should be. Another versatile attacking midfielder in 23-year-old Antonio Vutov. He can play anywhere in that attacking midfield three, can't he? On the left, in the middle, on the right-hand side. Probably going to be playing the majority of it in the middle. 3.5-star current and potential ability. Think he's probably one of our best players. Again, mentally got some really good stats. Technically, he also has some decent stats, but maybe not as high as we'd like them to be. Challenging Vutov for that central midfield spot is going to be 27-year-old Bulgarian Vasil Shopov. He is very, very good for this level of football. 3.5-star current and potential ability. He's not actually started a game for us, and I don't really know why. He has scored a goal in the Europa League as well. I think he's actually good. He needs to play more. He's got lots of 12s. He's got a 15 flair. I love a flair player. He's no relation, but he's bloody good. Stanislav Shopov, 17 years old. I didn't know how young you were either. 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. Already played in every single game for us so far this season. 2 goals as well in the Europa League. Stanislav Shopov is good. He's very good. He's probably the one playing in the middle most of the time. And our best player, a player who has actually got lots and lots of Bulgaria caps, still gets in the Bulgaria team as well to this date in game, is Todor Nedelev, 26 years old now, worth £1.4 million. If someone comes in for him, it's going to take a lot of money for me to want to try and sell him. Technically, he is a bloody wizard on the ball. Corners and crossing of 16, passing of 17. He's great with penalties as well on free kicks. Mentally, he's got loads of flair. I love it. Loads of flair. Great vision as well. Physically, not the best, but it doesn't matter when you're that good. He doesn't need to run. Someone else can do his running for him. And finally, the strikers. There were a couple that I mentioned previously in the attacking midfielders, but here are the main 5. So, Adrian Dimitrov is first up, 19 years old. We've only just signed him. Got some potential. Probably won't play a huge amount of games for us this season. Maybe we loan him out to Sturmska Slava, possibly. Christian Dobrev is next up. He's technically an inside forward on that right-hand side, but I've actually been playing him as an attacking forward, as an advanced forward in the middle. He's scored twice in the league already in the opening match of the season. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. I think he's very good. He's already improving as well. Only 18 years old. Next up is a player on loan from Lech Poznan. The final player on loan from Lech Poznan is 20-year-old Polish striker Dawid Kermanowski. He's decent. I mean, he can't finish for a striker, which is a worry. But a lot of our players have 11s and 12s all over their stats, and he is another example of this. His physical stats, they're all 10s, 11s and 12s. Mental stats, quite a lot of 10s, 11s and 12s in there as well. Technical, the main ones that stand out, dribbling, finishing, first touch, heading, passing, technique, 10s, 11s and 12s. And finally, our Congolese international Fododore, who was our top scorer last season with 11 goals. So far this season hasn't really hit the ground running, partially because he's damaged his shoulder and has only played 1 game for us. He's really good physically, like in the air, he's 6'4", his jumping reach is 16 as well. He's a big lad, but I don't know whether he's going to do a job for us. I really don't. I'm tempted to try and shift him on maybe in January because I think Dobrev is one of those players that we can I'd rather play Dobrev over Fodor because I think Dobrev has a lot more potential. That might just be me talking absolute nonsense, however. So that is the entire first team. Yeah, there's some very good players in there. If we sort by ability, the main ones are up here then. It's Todor Nedlev, Daniel Kaiser, Fodor, Stanislav Shopov, who is just 17 years old, Vasil Shopov, who's 27, Radoslav Terziev, Antonio Vutov, Alan Sherry, and then Lashazar Baltanov. Anyone under that is 3 stars, but we've got a good little squad here. We also have a load of players in our under-18s, some of them who are very good. This man here, I want to try and break him into the first team. Plamen Bakadziev, maybe. He looks very good, only 16 years old. We've also got Stanislav Rabatov, who is a central defender, who will be getting put into the first team because we don't have a huge amount of central defenders. He hasn't got particularly great determination, flair, leadership, can't take free kicks, corners or cross, which he's a centre-back, doesn't need to do that. But where it matters, technically, he's got the right stats. Where it matters mentally, he's got the right stats, apart from the determination. I'd like that to improve. Also, in our under-18s, we've got some decent players as well. Dobrin Bachkov is one example of this. He looks very, very good. And Alexander Mladenov also looks very, very good, despite the fact that he's only 16 years old. That is going to do it for this rundown of the players. Hopefully, if you were interested, you found it interesting. If you weren't interested, you've probably switched off the video by now, so I don't really know why I'm talking to you. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back in the next normal episode, which will be up against Arda and AZ Alkmaar in the Europa League, and I will hope to see you next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.